Oh, there I am. Well, there I am. Okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Can you let me know in the chats? Is there anybody in the room right now? I can see two people. Just let me know in the chats if you can hear me, please. And that way I know I'm not just recording for myself. Uh, I'm just gonna actually, while I wait for a little bit, I'm just gonna pop the chat box up so I can see it like in big prints. Okay. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Hamza. That's my husband, people. Okay, good. So I don't know how many people will be joining the live. I'm just gonna do this one honestly because I want to get used to doing more lives. I was just watching Queen E's live, Queenie and the girls, from their group chat. So I was just watching that. I just watched Your Aunties Could Never this morning, but I want to get into doing more lives. So I decided that I might as well just hop on and do one. I keep going in and you get okay. Everything should be back online now. Yeah, so I just wanted to do one and then start from there, and maybe we can, grow and start doing maybe monthlies or bi-weeklies or whatever it is that we end up doing. Why does my camera keep going in and out of focus, guys? Growing pains, guys, growing pains. It just doesn't want me to move at all. So maybe I'll just stay here. But we're going to be talking about my siblings' romance, his man 2 and 19 to 20. I'm not gonna be on here long, guys. If there were more people, in the chat, firing questions, comments, and this fucking camera. I'm sorry. So it literally just wants me to be like this. Okay. I'll try to stay still, but I'm a very, very animated person. You guys know from my videos. Anywho, we're gonna be doing my siblings romance, his man 2 and 19 to 20. Um, for my siblings romance, honestly, guys, you guys watched it. You'd watched it months ahead of me, so you knew what was coming, and you guys just let me, you just let me get through it by myself. I don't need this anymore. I was just checking to see if I could hear myself. When that whole development with G1, oh god, I can't believe she has the name G1 because G1 is one of my favorite characters, from Marry My Husband. But that whole development with her and Young Woo, like what the hell happened? What in the freaking hell happened? How I understood Young's part. Like he had already started showing us who he was. Like there were telltale signs. The signs were there. We weren't really seeing them, but they were there. And then for him to just, or for her to like just switch up 2 days, 2 freaking days before the final decision. I was so pissed off. I really was. And you guys didn't even get to see, like, you didn't see the blood boiling in me because when it was happening, I was like, no, I was pissed off that she was changing her mind. I was pissed off that she was leaving Jaehyung in the dust. I've already been pissed off at Yongu because I felt that he had ruined the entire experience for us. This was the first season of the siblings romance. It had started out very strong. We were all like, on board for it, still on board for the concept, and I guess he made things interesting. But they are real people, and it was at the cost of Choa's heart, just felt like that was messed up. Had he changed his mind like a week before the final decisions, like before they left Singapore, oh sorry, before they left Korea and went to Singapore, had he changed his mind around then, I would have been like, "Fine, you know what? He gave her 5 days, he gave her 7 days, whatever, there was ample time. But to string her along and then 3 days, 3 freaking days. And then for Jiwon to do the same thing to Jaehyun. Granted, their own connection was just budding. Like honestly, the sprouts had just broken free from the ground. She stomped on it the way she stomped on his heart. Granted, but still, like I don't know. It kind of ruined Yongo kind of ruined the entire experience for me. I do hope that they get a season two because I want to see what else people bring. Honestly, we watch these things for entertainment. It doesn't go beyond that. But I was also curious about the kind of them that he got from people that watched it. Like, what was that like? Has he done any, after interviews? Have they shown have a reunion? I didn't even check to see if they'd done one. They probably have. What were the vibes? That's kind of like what I'm interested in. In Jiwon's interview, she looked like she looked dead. I'm not even kidding. She looked like she was a dead woman walking. And I feel like she had been, you know, Young has been like torturing her. I don't know if they're still together. If you guys know, let me know in the comments if they're still together. I'm seriously curious about that relationship. We heard that the Yoons are getting married, which honestly I'm not surprised. Yoon Jae is a man's man. This guy came on the scene, he picked the person he liked, and he stuck to his guns. Even when she was kind of fluttering a little bit. I mean, that whole rebellious stage of hers, that was terrible. I'm not gonna lie, that was terrible. I was like, throw the whole family away. Personally, on the show, guys, on the show, it's always on the show. But yeah, that was intense. I just can't. I just couldn't with the whole thing. But the youth are getting married. Thank you guys for updating me on that. You guys always keep me updated, which I absolutely love. Yunji and Yunha will be getting married, I think, this year, which is kind of cool. I love that for them. I knew that if she did pick him, he will do everything in his power to make that relationship work. Guys, I'm sorry, I'm using my laptop, my webcam, so it's kind of going in and out. These are the growing pains. This is what we get for our first live. The second live I'll use my other camera and hopefully that will work out better. I just didn't know how to connect everything. Anywho, moving on. Like I said, Youngwoo did kind of ruin the whole experiment for me because I thought it was a very beautiful, wholesome show. It still is, but his antics on the show were absolutely horrific. That's all I gotta say about that. On live, you would probably do some comments, but we can always still talk about this. Like, conversation never ends, which is why I like, Korean content and you guys always tuning in and, leaving comments. So we can always talk about things, but I'm going to be moving on because that was the crux of what I wanted to talk about. I will give the production direction and the entire production team for My Siblings Romance kudos. I think they created something very special, and I really hope that we get a second season. Like I said, if there is a second season, it's gonna be reviews, guys. I am not messing with you guys. I am not doing it. I'm not messing with you guys when it comes to reactions. I mean, maybe you know me. I will probably do reactions here and there, but it will be bulk of it will be reviews, and it'll hopefully be real time. So you guys, let me know when it comes on, so we can be, updated with it. Like every episode we'll watch, we'll review, we'll chat about it. But moving on to his man too, which what an absolutely perfect show! I loved it. I loved it. I started 2 and 3 at the same time. And maybe I don't know if you guys watch the shows, but his man 2, for the people who haven't seen it, 8 attractive guys cohabitate for 8 days, leading to exciting chemistry and unexpected connections. That's kind of like the crux of the show. So it's an LGBTQ plus show in Korea, and I feel like it was their first. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that this was their first, which was absolutely fantastic. I loved the show. I loved it. Like I said, I started 2 and 3 at the same time. I kind of abandoned 3 at episode 9 because it was boring. And I don't said that about any Korean show, but it was boring. I was bored out of my freaking mind. Especially, sorry, especially because I was watching 2 and 3 at the same time, and I was seeing how well 2 was done, 2 was like perfection. they went into the heart of the matter. They talked to the guys. We get to see them in their different lives. Like they really did put their heart and soul into two. And then three was kind of like just slapstick, just like whatever. You guys take what you get, right? Oh my gosh, you're the real one. Oh my goodness, guys, I have to take a moment and acknowledge Kay. Kay helped me set up my Patreon. Like totally back and forth communicating with me. I'm so happy you're here. Oh, that warms my heart. This has made the life for me, guys. I'm done. We're closing out. We're done. We're done. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Kay. We're talking, you know how we're talking about my siblings romance, his man two and 19 to 20. I'm on his man two right now. So I was just saying how his man two was so different from three and how I've literally just abandoned three. I kind of stopped 3 at 9. I will finish it eventually. It's just been so boring and it's just not it wasn't engaging enough for me. There was so much heart put into 2 and we didn't really get a lot of that in 3. So I'm not been able to finish 3, but I will eventually. But let's talk about my baby song and his baby June song. I'm not just they have their own YouTube channel, Jin Sung and they were one of the first people that I actually, after the show, went to look for because people were telling me how they do their own content now and they have all of that going on for them. They have individual, YouTubes and then they have their couple YouTube. I have watched a handful of videos. I'm not gonna lie. I really do love them. I love them. I love the way Jungkook fought for Songho. That's honestly that's what got me captivated because in the beginning I didn't like Jun Song at all. Like I thought that he was a little bit abrasive is the best word I can say. Like and he looked like somebody who was hurting. He did say that in season one his ex was there. So I'm sorry about the focus, guys. Like I said, I'm using my webcam, so it keeps every time I move, it keeps going in and out of focus. And I'm a very animated person. It is what it is. Yes. Song did not watch season one of His Man because he said that his ex was on the show and he didn't want to see his ex move on. Valid. Like valid, especially if it was still fresh. Like I wouldn't want to see that either, right? It doesn't matter how we ended the relationship. It's not just a pleasant thing to see, no matter what it is. So I think he came in very guarded. He came in very harsh and abrasive. And then he found the person that he liked and he completely turned into a lover boy. And I was like, oh, he kind of won me over by the end of it. And I really liked him. Now there was another couple that came out of it. I mean, there were multiple triangles. You guys were there. Like it would have been absolutely fantastic if there was more engagement in the comments because then we can volley. I'm just going to speak to the things that I remember and the things that stood out to me the most. So there were a few other triangles in the relationship. So in the end, we only had two couples, right? If I'm remembering correctly, I've seen a ton of stuff since I watched. It's fun too. But I think we had Jun Sung and Sung Ho, and then we had Min Sun and Hyung Jin. Yeah, because it was a triangle between Hyung Jin, Hyung Jun, and Minsun. I thought that Minsun was going for Hyung Jun. I was really confused when he ended up picking Hyung Jin, and I was like, "Is it really because of Hyung Jin's lifestyle? Was that the deal breaker for him? Because he kept hammering on that. He's like, he doesn't really see how they can align their lifestyle. Because Hyung Jun he's a YouTuber as well as a DJ. I think that was what it was. So he works a lot of nights, and Min Sung is a hospital administrator, if I remember correctly. And I feel like he latched onto that. Or maybe he just wasn't attracted to Hyun Jun that much. But that's not how it was produced for us. So I was really confused when the finals came around and that was what we saw. And I was like, okay, you know what? I didn't really think that it would last at that point. Not because I didn't think they weren't suited for each other, but because I thought that Minsun was not 100% himself. I just felt like there were a lot of things that he had to go and deal with and had to go and like unpack because he was the one who had not even come out to his family. You know, at this point when the series had aired, he said he hadn't come out to that many people. Like the show would be his come out story. And I was like, okay, that's a lot, to carry into a relationship. It's already a lot that a lot of people dislike you, for who you love. A lot of people dislike you or hate you for who you have chosen to spend the rest of your life with. Then adding on to the fact that you haven't even told how many people in your life, plus on a show which is international. Like always say, if my black ass is watching it, it's international. I just felt like he was carrying a lot of I don't want to call it baggage because it's not necessarily bad, but he just had a lot of his a lot on his shoulders going into a potential relationship, and I didn't think that then was the time. Turns out that they didn't end up dating right after the show. They took some time. I think they took some time to get to know each other, adjust to their lifestyle, and now they're dating. And they're going on what, 40 days or something like that? I don't keep up with these people's choice. You don't have to always tell me these things. But they're going on, I think at least 3 months now, or something like that. And they also are putting out content, which is kind of nice. I did watch one Q&A session that Minson and Hyunjin had, and I will say that Minson looked a lot more happier. He looked a lot more relieved, if is the best way I can say that. Like he didn't he didn't look stressed at all, and I absolutely love that. I don't know what they're doing in their background. Whatever it is working for them, and I wish them a very, very long and happy relationship. Just like I wish my baby June a long and happy relationship. I just love him. That is a thing for me. I latch onto somebody on each show and they are my baby. Usually I have subsequent babies, so sometimes there's two, sometimes there's three, but I usually have one favorite and I reach that person no matter what. Mhm. Anyhow, I'm running moving to 19 to 20. Like I said, I'm not planning to be talking for too long because it's the first one. Hopefully this will lead to more and we can have more, Q&A sessions and stuff like that. But we're going on to 19 and 20, which is the one that I just recently wrapped up. I think I finished this like 3 days ago. And my God, there were so many people recommending this show to me. And I just want to take time to thank every one of you because you guys have the real tea. You're the ones who have recommended every single show that I've watched, and I've loved them all. Love them all. Even his Man 3 that I haven't finished. I know it's been a it's been a little trumpet. I need some tea. So I finished the show, but I still like it. So thank you guys for always recommending. Thank you for being the real ones. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. 19 to 20 is fantastic. It's fan fucking tastic. I just have to put it in there because I didn't think watching a bunch of teenagers who were turning, from teenage to adulthood would be that interesting. I knew it would, but I didn't think it would be this engaging. Sure, everybody should watch it. It is family friendly. It is wholesome. You want to pull your hair out because some of them are making decisions that are just crazy. You want to hug them. Like it was all the emotions wrapped up in one. You guys give me a big cry. I hate crying on the internet, yet I'm consistently crying on the internet. It's a thing. I am trying my best. I just started watching what's it called the other day. I was rewatching Is She the Wolf? And every time Tomoki came on screen, guys, my eyes would just water. Okay, so they seem more authentic than other candidates. They do. You're so correct. And I think it's because of their age. I think it's because they're still so young. Like the world has not had time to actually, you know, get in there and mess things up. And I think that's what it was that I connected to the most. Like even when I felt like some people were not being completely authentic, I understood where they were coming from. And maybe we'll get into that a little more. I understood where the person was coming from because I was like, okay, they're so young. They really don't even know who they are yet. So they have to kind of figure that out on TV. It's kind of a stressful situation. But let's get into it. So for the people who don't watch 19 to 20, it says it captures the growth and freedom of young 19-year-olds as they turn 20. The show will follow various Gen Zs as they enjoy their final week being 19 and their first week being 20 after ringing in. 2023. So it was just last year, guys. The unique participants will close out the year by spending time with their friends and slowly but surely preparing for adulthood. They will begin attending 19 school, which is something they created for the show, where they will take lessons about useful things to know as adults. So they cover things from makeup because everybody pretty much does makeup in Korea, both men, women. It's a thing there. It's a regular life. They did finances, they did dating, they did cooking. They did a lot actually. They really did. It's only 1 week, but I feel like it's still something, that they can latch onto that they probably weren't going getting training on previously. On New Year's Day, all the cast members will part ways with their parents and teachers and move into the 20 house, a place of independence and the start of their new adult journey where they can showcase their colorful charms, create unexpected bonds, and make meaningful memories. So somebody's texting me. Ugh, it's all this scam. Oh yeah, so 1920 is absolutely fantastic. My baby in 1920 was Hiji. And I decided, I think episode 2, because I was like, I'm still getting a feel for all of them. Let me see who scratches. No, let me see who I have affinity for. But Hiji took me. As soon as I locked in Hiji, I was like, come, she's the one. The person that I think was a little inauthentic, just a smidgen. And I can't even say inauthentic. I just think that she didn't know who she wanted to be, and she should have just been herself, was Yerin. Yerin started out fantastic for me in the 19 school love camp. She was my number one. In fact, when she first came, I was like, I like Yerin. I really do. I see she was bubbly, she was animated, she seems very welcoming. Yeah, but in the 20 house, things kind of switched for me because it must feel like she came in with this perception of this is who they want me to be, so this is who I have to be. Yes, Yeri was a mess. She really was a mess. 19 was great for Yeri, but 20, I don't know. And it was also twofold. Yerin was falling in love with this boy who switched up once they got into the. I don't even think it was in the 20 house. He switched up once the new girl came on day 2. I feel like it was day 2. And so I don't know. Yerin was a mess. I think Kay is right. Yerin was a mess. That's the best way I can say because I really don't want to like crap on them. They're so young. Every time they were making bad decisions, I was screaming. I was like, "They're 20. They're 20. They're 20." This is what I kept doing my reaction. They're 20. They're 20. That's all I kept doing because I have 14 years on these children. So I was like, okay, you can't really ask them to make the kind of decisions that you're making now at 34 when they're literally still 19. Let's just be honest. But it was a mess. So we had Yerin for the girls, we had Yerin, we had Hiji, my baby. We had Sehyun and then Sehyun. Sehyun was another person. I had a love-hate relationship with Sehyun. Sehyun was my third baby because that girl came to the show to suffer. You just have to watch it to understand what I'm saying. This poor girl, I think she was the most gentle person in the entire house. So calm. She walks like an old lady. I love it. Every time she would come in on screen, like, oh my god, she's so cute, so adorable. But like she had probably the hardest time in this house, honestly. The first boy she liked, who encouraged the feelings, switched up on her and he didn't even want to tell her. She had to literally force it out of his mouth. He says, what do you think about the architect girl? And that's Asian. That's who I'm talking about. That's the one that I was like love-hate relationship with her. And she did Sangwon dirty. Sangwon is the architect. Okay, so for the girls, we had Yerin, Iji, Sehyung, and then Jiwoo. Jiwoo was the last girl to come into the house. I didn't trust Jiwoo at first, but by the end of it, she was like, oh my God, good communicator, like perfect way to talk to guys. Like she could talk to guys. She was willing to talk to them, willing to teach them. I liked her by the end of it. I didn't like her in the first 5 episodes, not gonna lie. But I liked her by the end of the season. And then for the boys, we had Young Jun, who was my second baby. Sangwon, who was the most, I guess he was the most mature of all of them. He was already in college. So, they looked at him like, you know, senior. Pyong Suk, I didn't understand Pyong Suk for the first 5 episodes, not gonna lie. It took a minute. It took a minute for me to get on Pyong Suk's side. And then who am I forgetting? Seon. Yeah, yeah, Seon was a lot. And then there was one more person I can't. Jimin. Oh, Jimin was a mess. If Yuri was the female version of the mess, Jimin was the male version of the mess. But for Jimin, I think there was something off. And I watched the reunion and he said that he was not doing well mentally and also physically because at one point he said he only eats once a day. And I was like, somebody check on Jimin. There's something going wrong there. But yeah, Jimin I thought was troubled is the best way that I can describe it. And he did confirm my suspicion because he looked 100 times better in the reunion. So there were obviously love triangles, there were messy decisions, there were cute moments, there were wholesome moments. But we ended up with what, three couples at the end? Yeah, because we had Young Jun. Is it Young Jun or Jun Young? Because I always get it mixed up. Anyways, we had G1 and him. We had Yerin and Jimin, which was not a coupling that we thought that was coming out of this whole thing. I did not see them. In fact, when their attraction started, I was like, I think they're both filling the void of what the other person needed. Erin loves compliments, and Jimin was always giving it to her. And I think Jimin's love language is like touch, because he would melt every time that she would grab his chin. It's wholesome. But I kept saying that their relationship will be fraught, and that's the word. Like, you know how you pour wine or alcohol and it's frothy, you know how it just bubbles up? That was the only image that kept coming to my head when I thought about them. I was like, their relationship would be fraught. It would be exciting, but it was going to be tumultuous. I could see the writing on the wall. And unfortunately, I don't even think they're still together. I don't think any of them are still together except for my baby and her baby. So Hiji and Pyong Suk are the only ones that are still together, going on 400 days before I check on my babies. I usually do. Well, I'm not following her or anything, but I did check. I got so curious. Episode 12, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I know that they're ending up together. I want to see if they're still together. So I checked up on them and they're still together. I love that. I really do love that. 19 to 20 is an absolute fantastic show. If you haven't seen it, it is streaming on Netflix. I'm not deep diving. Like I said, it's more engaging when people are commenting and throwing out suggestions and things that maybe I missed that you guys caught, or validate some of the things that I caught. Because I've been going a lot in you can hear that my husband is just upset. In a lot in my what's it called reactions. Usually at the end I rant a little because I just that's why I like reviews. Reviews give me the opportunity to like just spill it out and say, everything that I was thinking, all the analysis that I'm making, all the things that I catch. But reactions I can't. I have to pay attention and actually look. But I do go in at the end and like talk about some of the things that I'm frustrated about, or some of the things that I clocked. And for me, I did not think that Jimin and Yerin would survive. I also felt like they wouldn't survive now, but if they lived a little bit and maybe like 5 years down the line, they came back together, it would be a possibility for them. But they needed to grow because there were some things that Jimin was doing. There was a whole thing that happened where Jimin tried to manipulate the decision. He tried to make her use her own opportunity on him, and that was his ultimatum. And I hated that. I was like, no. But she also did the same thing too. At some point, it was just a lot, and I was like, oh my god, they will learn. They will learn. They're only 20. They have their whole life ahead of them. They do need to date a little bit, experience life. Some people were more stable than others. Like Hiji and Pyeongseok. And I did say that in my reaction. I said the reason why they work is it because they themselves are uncomplicated and they just don't make a big deal out of everything because they just clicked. And at first, I did not think that Pyeongseok liked Hiji. Honestly, I didn't know where his mind was. I couldn't read the boy. He was like a brickstone. But once he said it and he stuck to his guns throughout the entire season, I was like, that's a man's man. Another thing about them was that they reminded me of what's her name? Dahi and Dongjin from Exchange 3. He says, when the tennis boy told on hearing to the other boys, I was shocked. Yeah. Yeah. Saying, I don't know. Don't know. I can't say I didn't like him because that's not fair. And I can't say I didn't like any of them because that's not fair. They had their faults. They were definitely their age was definitely showing, but it's also a two-edged sword because you have people like Pyonsuk and Hiji who are the exact same age as everybody else in that house, but showed a lot more maturity. So, you know how just I guess lifestyle and experiences determine who you are at whatever point in life that you are. So yeah, when Seon was telling on Yeren, it wasn't nice. And yeah, I didn't really like the way he actually didn't do bad. Handling the whole triangle situation, he didn't do bad. He went to Yeren and he talked to her and he also expressed his feelings for Jill. It was sad that in the end he didn't get who he liked. And when he started crying, that broke me. That broke me. When he started crying, I was like, God, it's like a full on K drama series. And he didn't want her. K is all right. He didn't want her. So why was he feeling some type of way? It was that he wanted a plan B. And it wasn't fair to Yerin. But then Yerin was also thirsting after him. And he was like, he don't like you. Read the signs. He don't like you. Yeah, this is a rant. And I'm done off track. I love it though because again, like you guys who watched it, you understand what I mean. And hopefully, the people who didn't watch it are confused enough and interested enough to go out and watch the series and understand what we're talking about. But yeah, no, the whole triangle situations where they were a little extreme. But you know what? Even this girl, Sohyun, the architect, and Sangwon, she was doing the exact same thing to Sangwon. She wanted to date around. She didn't tell him till like the very end. And then she was feeling pressured when he was expressing himself to her. It's like, girl, tell him that you want to see other people so he knows how to act. If you don't tell him you're interested in other people, of course he's gonna express himself to you. Like he likes you. He doesn't like anybody else. I think that Yerin loves yes, and that's why she was attracted to Jimin. She liked the chaos. She thrived on it. She wants messy. And I said that, but I was like, I don't know. I don't know. There's just something a little off about Yerin in this whole situation where she's trying to be. And I was like, if you're messy, call me messy. Show us who you are so that we know how to act accordingly. And the thing is that we will always be forgiven because of their age and because of how new they are to everything. Like this would have been her first relationship. Of course, I will call you out, but I will not be harsh because I know that your life is ahead of you. But she did like the mess, and I think that's what she was striving on with the whole thing. Because at first she was like, "Yeah, I don't mind that Sehun likes or Sehun wants to date other people," and then she was like, "Oh, I hate this," and I'm like, "Choose a lane. You can't keep moving the goalposts. Like, choose who you are and what you want to be, and just stick to it." It was a very dynamic show. I really enjoyed it. I really did. And there's a lot that you can break down in every single what's it called? Every single scene on the show, which made it hella fascinating. And when you see the real relationships forming, the thing is that they form friendships no matter what. These people will probably be in each other's lives, for the rest of their lives if they want to. But also the relationships that form. Because when you watch Hiji and Pyonsuk fall in love, it's just so wholesome. Honestly, it's so pure. Pyonsuk is simultaneously cute and a man's man. And if you know, you know what I mean. Like looking at him, he's just cute. But then he does some things that are just absolutely manly, and they're like, oh, this guy is gonna be solid you know, whenever he settles. And hopefully he has settled on Hiji because I would love that for them. But whatever happens to them in their future, they're gonna be all right. All right, guys. Like, no, I loved it. I loved it. I want to wrap up now because I did want to do only 30 minutes. However, I am watching Is She the Wolf again. I'm doing a reaction to that, so you guys can look out for that in the future. We're also going to be doing Love Chacha in Seoul. I heard that one was good, so I'm going to be doing that one. Be sure to check out Patreon. There's a lot going on there. Shout out to Kate, your girl. Oh my gosh! Did you know who the girl that Kate? last was going to choose. Yes, she was all for Jong Yun. I think his name is Jong Yun. Yeah, she wanted, yeah, Jong Yun. I knew that she was. I knew that Jim was in love with Jong Yun from the very beginning. She entertained Seon because he was strangely affectionate. Jong Yun had never talked to a girl. He'd gone to an all boys school, and he hadn't really been in a relationship, so he didn't know how to approach G1. But Seon did. Seon had been in a relationship before. I think he'd been in multiple. He's a table tennis player who had gone pro, so you know the girlies would be on him. Oh God, I almost said something very bad. Thank God for Mexican fortitude. But yeah, I knew that Ji wanted Youngjun. She liked him from the very beginning. Their date, their dream date where they went glamping. Was nothing going on that date, and she was like, "I'm so happy, I'm so happy, I'm so." She said, "I'm so happy" like 40 times if you're counting. I'm being obviously I'm exaggerating, but that's how many times she said, "I'm so happy," and there was nothing. She even said it in her VT. She said there was nothing exceptional about the date, but I was extremely happy. That's a girl in love. And I don't think they're still together, which is kind of sad because I did actually like them. I did actually like them together, but I don't think they're still together. And that kind of bummed me out. But the entire reaction, the entire series, I was saying Young will learn. Young will learn. Young will learn. And I said that it might be at the expense of his relationship with Jiwoo, but he will learn nonetheless. He's still young and he's an aspiring actor. So he will do what he wants to do in the end and he will meet who he needs to meet. But it just panned out the way it did. I'm still gonna root for my baby though. PG all the way. And Piotek looks like a good guy. So we wish them well. Beyond that, it's never personal for me. My commentary is usually only on what's going on and never on their personal lives. It's what you show me on the TV series that I will comment on. But yeah, like I said, I'm doing off Matcha and Soul. I'm doing Is She the Wolf. I'm doing a bunch of other stuff. And they're all gonna go to Patreon first. So you guys make sure you check out Patreon. I'm also doing the Chinese K drama, no, Chinese drama. Yes, I do. It has multiple names, guys. The translations, the subtitles, oh god, the subtitles are in hell for that one. But we're figuring it out. We are in episode 4 now, and I kind of understand what is going on. So I'm able to read in between the lines, and it's still a great show. And again, the relationships that are forming on that one are so pure. The triangles are very interesting. I'm enjoying it. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. But yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye now. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you so much. K is the real one. Guys, if there's ever a giveaway on my channel, K is my number one. I've already said this. Not even gonna sign me nothing. Is my number one because they helped me, honestly. Like with Patreon and everything, they helped me set it up. It wasn't working. They were texting, messaging me. I just appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for your support and love you truly, wholly. Thank you for your support and thank you everybody for joining the live. I'll see you guys hopefully in the next one. We'll probably do more of these. Bye.